Yo, what's up, everybody? It's me, that one Weeb here, back with another episode for What If Naruto Was a Demigod, Part 13. You guys have been waiting for this for a while. I'm pretty excited. The script has a lot of power. I hope you guys enjoy this series, as you guys have in the past so far. Hope you guys enjoy the script for this. Put a lot of effort into this one, especially for this is going to be kind of the big fight, and also this is the last episode for What If Naruto Was a Demigod, the skip. Part 14 we'll be getting to Naruto Shippuden. So thank you guys so much for sticking with my own creative journey for the past few episodes of me working on Naruto and trying to expand the lore a little bit. But anyway, let's get into a quick recap. As Naruto and Jiraiya had traveled to the Land of Waves, they had found, and Naruto had sense of his sage jutsu and nature energy, the dragon across the way using his dragon sage mode. He found that there on the island there was a tree that held a single golden apple. If you guys know this myth from Greek mythology, this is part of the Hercules 12 trials. But anyway, as Naruto had picked the apple and escaped, see, the apple itself was a sort of key, similar to the chakra rods that Pain uses in Naruto Shippuden. When Hera herself then notices that chakra has made contact with the apple, then she would come to the world carrying Naruto's divine energy to see if he can prove himself to her that he deserves this power given to him by the gods, and to show her that his training, as well as his personality in general, was someone worth of a hero being praised from the old times. As Naruto picks this apple and returns to the mainland, then suddenly the apple begins to shine a bright golden, illuminating glow. Jiraiya and Naruto's faces, showered with this golden light, suddenly are shocked as the apple flies into the air and bursts into pieces. As the gold falls to the ground into nothing but melted gold on the solid ground of rock and stone, Hera herself then appears out of the sky, as she manifests about 25% of her full power there to fight with Naruto. As I've mentioned before, the gods can only manifest themselves on a physical realm planet if they have either a host from their bloodline, B, they reincarnate themselves into a human form with their memory still intact but far less of their power, or C, if they have some sort of relic that can allow them to travel there, like how Hades was able to take over Haku using his emotions as a sort of vessel. Anyway, let's get back into the part. As Hera and Naruto stare each other down, Naruto quickly activates Sage Mode while he still has time to stay still. As he perfectly stands still, he summons the nature energy around him and can sense that this goddess clearly has an immense amount of chakra as well as nature energy completely surrounding her form. As his body is filled to the brim with natural energy, the scales begin to grow around his body as he has the dark blue and mixed coloring of the thunder dragon. As he looks up at the goddess, he then pulls his hand into the air and says he's going to get his weapon and his power back. Hera laughs as she pulls out her own godly weapon. There she stands. Hera begins to pull out her own silver, bright white, almost shining to the point of a star, metal, and she begins to spin it similar to how Naruto spins his own scythe. He can see the golden bar in her other pocket, basically shining from the sun's illumination on it. Naruto looks, and through his eyes he can see that the metal rod that she's been spinning begins to grow into an awesome and mighty powerful staff. As she stands there, he stares awe at the long, about 12 feet in height, metal pole of destruction that he can see. The chakra coming off of it is intense, and for some reason this feels different than whenever he uses his own scythe. Hera then explains to Naruto that this is the true power of a godly weapon, you filthy demigod, as she then takes up her own staff and is about to jab into the ground. At this point, Zeus up in the heavenly realms is finally awakened from his short nap and sees that his wife is missing. He begins to walk around the palace in heaven and is looking to see where she might have gone when he senses a great disturbance below, as he can sense Naruto's chakra being manipulated, sort of. As he goes and looks down to see into the mortal realm, he can see that Hera is battling his son. This makes Zeus, or Minato, enraged, and he immediately tries to call Hera back to the realm of the gods. Hera ignores this and says that she's going to see if his son is truly worthy of carrying the title of Zeus' son. As Naruto gets into the fight, she then thrusts her staff at the ground, causing a tremendous earthquake to shake, as she reveals the true power of the immortal weapons. You see, Naruto, every immortal weapon that an immortal possesses has a special ability that's only ever given to that specific weapon. For you see, my ability. At that point, she shoves the staff into the ground. The actual ground begins to warp as Naruto can feel that reality itself is beginning to shake and bend. It's called bend. See, in marriages as well as life in general, a lot of bends in the road take place, and so to manifest this part of my duties as a goddess, and as well as my duty as the queen of the gods, my weapon has the ability to bend fate or reality even at will. She then uses this while Naruto's off ground to speed at Naruto, and as she blitzes towards Naruto, her hair begins to expand as she uses an expansion jutsu. She doesn't even have to form a hand seal, as her own chakra is powerful enough to the point where Naruto feels overwhelmed. Naruto, luckily, is only facing 25% of Hera. If he had to face her entire full form, he could barely even move, much less dodge her. Using Sage Mode, he uses a quick lightning clone, a lightning release shadow clone, and pulls himself out of the way. As Naruto's clone gets hit, lightning begins to explode over the area and covers her. She sighs in pain as she has a small scratch along her left hand. She goes to the cut and then licks the blood coming out of it as it seeps a golden color. Naruto's horrified at this woman, and Jiraiya tells Naruto that he doesn't care. He's going to help on this one and protect his student, no matter even if she is hot. Naruto then watches as his master Jiraiya Sensei activates his perfect Sage Mode. After Jiraiya had spent that time training on Mount Miyaboku, he had vowed that he would show Naruto what it truly meant to be a true Sannin of the Leaf Village. As Jiraiya dives into the battle, he quickly summons his summoning toad, Gamabunta. As Gamabunta and Naruto are watching as Jiraiya tells Gamabunta to help him with backup. Jiraiya then quickly uses his Toad Fire Sage jutsu. He quickly creates the oil jutsu and then makes a flame jutsu right after that. At that point, Jiraiya then maximizes the amount of firepower he can use, as the entire ground that's warping and moving from the staff's connection is then suddenly it combusts through Naruto's eyes, as Jiraiya just set aflame. Hera's staff is then an inch off the ground, causing the ground to stop moving as it stands there perfectly still. Naruto takes this opportunity as he forms a large ladder of shadow clones heading towards Hera. As he runs up the side of his shadow clones, he quickly forms a regular Rasengan in his right hand, using his chakra control. He then thrusts the Rasengan directly at Hera herself, who feels it coming from behind her. As she turns around, she has direct contact from both Jiraiya and Naruto's own Rasengans. One on her right side, one on her left. Hera's body spins in a perfect tornado fashion as she goes flying to the ground, smashing into it, causing several craters as her body goes flying through it. She quickly picks up her staff as she looks upward, seeing a golden glow spinning around her body. Filthy mortals. I had given you a chance to escape, but it appears that you're too stubborn or too stupid to avoid me. As Hera then pulls out the other weapon that she holds inside of her pocket, she then quickly pulls out Naruto's scythe, and as she activates it, she then says, "Here, if you want it so bad, catch." She then takes the scythe and begins to spin it extremely fast while it's at its full power. She throws the scythe, and suddenly the sharp blade is about to cut Naruto's head off. As the blade goes flying at Naruto, Naruto can only gasp for air, and suddenly, before his very eyes, Jiraiya gets stabbed by his staff as Jiraiya rushes in front of the way to protect him. Jiraiya falls to the ground as the staff is embedded into his side, beginning to see blood pooling out of the wound in his side. Jiraiya looks up to Naruto and reaches his hand forward, telling him in his mind that this is the way it had to be, and he tells him that he can still win. Go. Naruto, who's in Sage Mode now, is beginning to get enraged as he begins to shake as he pulls the scythe out of Jiraiya's side and begins to try and heal the wound. He quickly summons Tempest and tells Tempest to take care of Jiraiya Sensei while his current business is to deal with this rogue goddess. He then begins to wield his scythe as if he missed it for the past few months. He looks at Hera with his scythe now in hand and then says that he's going to make her disappear from this world. She smiles as she holds up Naruto's godly form and power in her other hand, completely filling the entire air with electricity, saying that if he wants his power so bad, then he should come and take it himself. Suddenly, Naruto blitzes and disappears, a trail of lightning appearing behind him, as he summons all of the lightning release he can to his body. At this point, he then charges lightning release into his staff, streaming the chakra lines. At this point, he then slices the scythe, and instead of having the typical wind nature energy that he always used, a slash of lightning comes blitzing out of the actual end, hitting into Hera and cutting her in half. Suddenly, her form reappears as her golden blood then sips back together as if nothing had happened. He then grits his teeth, realizing that this battle is going to be much harder than he had thought, and he then puts his all into it. Using Sage Mode Jutsu, he can basically dodge all of her attacks, as he can predict where she's going to move as well as feel the nature energy before she can make them. Every attack he dodges, tries to block or almost move out of the way, but every time he seems to barely get hit. Naruto's actually getting worn down, and even though he has Sage Jutsu on his side, which is severely helping his durability, as well as making him far stronger than he would be in his regular form, he's still not strong enough. If only he had Eagle Eye. With Eagle Eye, he could slow down her movements, as well as perceive where she'd be going next. Naruto then realizes that as long as he can cut her hand off before it can reappear, he has about a 3-second interval before he can grab his own power and return it to himself. She can see that he's thinking in his own head and laughs, saying that plan will never work. Naruto then looks up, and with everything he has, he finally comes up with a plan. He smiles a wry, wicked smile that Hera herself knows from Zeus all those long years ago, back during a long battle with his father, Kronos, aka Naruto's grandfather. Naruto looks up as his eyes gleam a brilliant blue, and he says, "Oh yeah? Well, you have to catch me first." At that point, he then pulls smoke bombs out of his pocket and throws smoke bombs across the entire area. Unknown to Hera, Naruto begins to form shadow clones, and as they use the transformation jutsu to turn themselves into rubble around the battlefield, Naruto quickly pretends to move to the opposite side, so that way she believes that he has some sort of other plan worked up. He creates a chain distraction that he wraps on the ground using his shadow clones to build, and suddenly he has a very advanced form of a chain prison built underground that he can use to spring up and capture her. He put just a little bit of lightning release into the entire chain so that way it would continue to tase and stun her just long enough so she couldn't use her teleporting and her immense speed and strength to bust out. This would be long enough. This will be his chance. At that point, he then, as the dust and smoke clears, she swings her staff into the dust, causing it to completely fall to the ground using her reality warping. She looks down at Naruto and says that, "So, what was your plan, just gonna move behind me?" Naruto, who has a Rasengan in both his right and left hands being formed by shadow clones, says this is going to go out with a bang. At that point, one of the shadow clones rushes forwards with a Rasengan in hand. Hera easily swipes this out of his hand as she smacks the Rasengan out with her staff, causing the chakra to explode, leaving her a blind spot. Immediately, Naruto rushes forward and says, "Do it now!" Suddenly, as Hera's eyes open wide, she can see that all the rubble below that wasn't there before is shadow clones. The shadow clones untransform themselves as they suddenly begin to pull the chain from underground. She looks up and is trying to escape, but it's too late. Naruto's other shadow clone pulled him up and threw him above her, and as he comes running down, he says, "You lose. It's time that I become the real me again and begin to get stronger so I can defeat the Akatsuki, save Sasuke, and also..." As he smashes his Rasengan to the top of her skull, as she flattens her entire body into the chain prison below as she gets wrapped up by the chains. "Save the world." As the entire chains begin to wrap around her body, she can feel her immortal chakra beginning to be squeezed out of her by the lightning release. She grits her teeth as she gets pissed off that some mortal could actually damage her, or much less catch her in a trap like this. Her staff is wrapped in the chain as well, far away. She can't reach it to activate her ability. Naruto has won. As Naruto walks forward to her outstretched hand, he then takes his own hand and pushes it on top of hers, gripping out and grabbing his own immortal chakra. He then opens up his own clothing and shows where the seal was, where the Kyuubi was. He then gently places his hand over it and then reseals his energy back inside of himself. Feeling some light return to his skin and color, Naruto finally takes a sigh of relief. As he looks up, and in his left eye, you can see the eagle eye activated. He looks down at Lady Hera and then tells her that if this isn't enough proof to you that I deserve who I am, that I am my father's son, and whatever you call yourselves, gods, goddesses, placing yourself on some mighty pedestal ahead of others, that isn't my nindo, my ninja way. My ninja way is to protect everyone, to save everyone in my village, and also to defend the world from people like you who try and take things from other people because they don't think they're worthy of it, or because they think they can't handle it themselves. Naruto then takes his fist and puts it on the left side of his chest as the eagle eye deactivates slowly. He then looks down at her as he smiles and says, "Well, I've proven it to you now, right?" Hera smiles as she looks up at her stepson, you could say, and she smiles, saying that she'll see him again someday, and that he truly was strong. Golden light begins to form around her body as she dissipates her 25% of immortal chakra as it returns to the heavenly realms. The chains fall to the ground as all the shadow clones disappear, and then Naruto remembers that Jiraiya is still bleeding. He rushes over to try and save Jiraiya. Back to Jiraiya. Jiraiya's laying on the ground, and he can feel blood pooling out of his left side. He doesn't know if there's much he can do. Naruto quickly tries to use his reverse summoning. Jiraiya doesn't know if this is able to work and tells him that the only place he knows that he could probably get some healing would perhaps be at Mount Miyaboku. Naruto desperately tries and sees if Gamabunta can reverse summon them. As Jiraiya and the entire team actually make it back to Mount Miyaboku, Naruto's sitting inside on the mountain's top while he desummoned Tempest. He sits there for the entire hours with his hands clasped together, closing his eyes, just praying to someone that his master, Jiraiya, wouldn't be hurt and wouldn't die. Several hours later, Naruto gets out of his small sitting area as he meets and walks around Mount Miyaboku. Although he doesn't have a summoning bond with any of the Toad people, he does get along with them quite well as due to him having an amphibian summon of the reptilian dragons similar to them. They still respect Naruto, as well as for him being a kind person, as well as for him being strong and saving Jiraiya boy. Jiraiya was foretold to be the one to train the child of prophecy, and so many of the Toads, especially Pa and Ma, believed that this Naruto boy might be the very one to do it, to truly be the one to bring peace to this shinobi world. If you guys want to see What If Naruto Was a Demigod Shippuden Part 1, or Part 14 of What If Naruto Was a Demigod, make sure to hit the like button, comment down below what you thought of this video, and make sure to subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys very much. Make sure to go check out my last video, What If Naruto Was the Avatar. If you haven't watched that series, make sure to go back on the channel. I have a playlist if you want to watch all of them at once. We currently have 10 parts on that. So, anyway, thank you guys again for everything. We're almost at 2,000 subscribers on the channel. I'm pretty excited. At 2,000 subscribers, I'm going to probably be changing a few things. I'm thinking of trying to make the channel a bit more higher quality on like what I can do. If there's anything that you guys think I could do to make my videos better, like what would you guys like me to do? Is there like something specific? Like if you have anything that you would want me to change in my videos, or even if like the stories or the scripts or something, or like what videos I make, if you want me to make other types of videos besides Naruto videos, that's cool too. Just give me some ideas and give me your suggestions, because I make these videos for you guys to watch, and it's so that way like we can enjoy the Naruto story again together. So if you guys want to help me work on my channel to make it even better and more quality, as well as just higher premium in general, so you guys can get the best Naruto What If content, you know, from another weeb right here, make sure to just let me know, okay? Again, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys later, weebs. Bye.